back. This will be the second video in our beginner series. Last time we talked about how to open Illustrator and how to do some basic shapes like circles and squares and rectangles. And this time we're going to continue on that. I'm going to show you how to manipulate shapes a little bit differently and how to do some more complex shapes. So today we're going to be learning about our white arrow, the direct selection tool, the eraser tool, and also the shape builder tool. So here we go. All right, so same as always, we're going to jump in here and we're just going to go to create new. This is just us practicing again. You can title it however you'd like. Again, this is just a practice sheet, or you can just click on this basic print size here where it says 11 by 8.5 or 8.5 by 11, doesn't matter which direction you go. Then hit create. All right, so once again, this is going to open up our workspace. And so here you go. Here's our fresh workspace. If your toolbar doesn't quite look like my toolbar, where there's the two rows of this here, that's just because these little white arrows, look where my mouse is, have not been selected. So if you click on these little two white arrows, it'll close it up and make it two columns. I prefer it that way. It's all personal preference. You can personalize your workspace however you'd like. Again, we're operating in Essentials Classic right now as opposed to Essentials. Essentials looks like this. This is probably what yours looks like when you first turn it on. It just doesn't have as many of the options available to you on the home screen as Essentials Classic does, which is why I like to teach. Okay, so last time we learned about the rectangle and the ellipse tool, and what we're going to do for this one is we're going to go down to the rectangle tool, which is where we started last time. Click and hold on it, and it's going to bring up a sub library of like hidden tools, right? So we played around with the ellipse tool, which is how you make circles and ovals. For this one, I'm going to have you click on the one that says polygon tool. Okay, polygon is just a fancy word for shape, and this will allow you to make shapes. So if I just click and drag open an item, it'll make this kind of shape. 1, 2, 3, 6 sides. What's that? You can answer in the comments. Look at me, I'm a YouTube star. Okay, anyhow, same thing. You can click on things. Click on the color to change the fill color. You can click on the stroke to change the stroke color. You can click on this little stroke item here to change the size of the stroke. And then basically what that's going to do is it's going to give you this kind of shape. Okay, and you can make a bunch of them. If you hold shift, you can make it while it stays aligned. Notice how it stays straight up and down like that. Remember, anytime you make one, it just builds it on top of the previous one. So the same thing goes for this with circles and squares and whatnot. Let's say we want to make a shape that's not the same. Okay, if you want to make a shape that's not the same as, it's not a 6-sided figure, you want to make like a triangle, for instance. With the polygon tool, all you have to do is click in your workspace, click a single time, and it'll bring up this little window, and that will allow you to change the sides of the shape. So in this case, instead of 6, we'll bring it down to 3. Voila, we have a triangle. Okay, so now it's set as my default. If I hold shift, it'll keep them aligned straight up and down. If I don't, I can keep them wobbly, right? So once again, to recap from something we learned in the previous video, is you have all this stuff here right now available. Let's say I want to go interact with this particular shape right here. I can't just jump right in and do that. It's not intuitive. It's not like a touch screen. I need to go back to my black arrow. It's very important. You have to remember that. I'm going to talk a lot about that on these first few videos. Go back to your black arrow, then click the shape. Now it's selectable. You can do things like rotate it. You can stretch it and squeeze it. You can change the color of it, etc. Okay. With that same black arrow, you can click on multiple items by clicking and dragging, and you can move them out in multiple ways. Okay. So what I'm going to have you all do is click and drag a net over everything like that so that it's all selected, and then just hit backspace on your keyboard. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to that polygon tool. I'm going to click once. I've got my triangle, and voila. All right. I want you to make a triangle. Let's try doing that. Pause if you can't figure out what I just did. Okay, and now from here, let's say I want to make a right triangle. Okay, this is where we're going to learn a new tool today, the white arrow. This is called the direct selection tool that allows you to click on very specific anchor points, and then you can adjust them and drag them in different ways. So with my white arrow selected, notice not the black arrow, I can go to the corners and you'll see the word anchor. It says anchor point. On any of those, you can click it once like that. So I've clicked it once. Now, if I click it again, I can click it and drag it and distort things. See this? So I can turn it into a white or excuse me, I can turn it into a right triangle. You'll notice as you're moving around, you'll see these little pop-up line, these little pink or purple guidelines. That's the computer, that's the program itself trying to help you keep things aligned, because this program is made for graphic designers, obviously, and want to keep things aligned and centered and whatnot. It's already in there. Okay, so by doing that, you can grab various corners. You can make any kind of irregular shape you'd like. This applies for anything as well. So like if I make my rectangle tool, if I make a rectangle, I can go grab that white arrow, and then I can click on items, and I can, round. And here all of a sudden you can see, oh, maybe this is the beginnings of some kind of cool logo or something, right? I mean, maybe not, but I'm just saying, as you start manipulating the shapes around, you can start playing around with things and, I don't know, making neat stuff, right? So that's how you use the white arrow. You just click on anchor points or sides or whatever, click them once, and then click them and move them around like so. Voila. Yay. I need to stop saying voila. It's getting annoying. Okay. So now that's how you can play around with that. So you guys feel free to play around with the white arrow, manipulate, make weird shapes all you want. But I'm going to select over this, and I'm going to hit backspace again to get rid of it. Now I'm going to quickly show you some shortcuts. Okay. So everybody just go ahead and make a rectangle like this. I don't know, you make as many as you want. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna learn our first shortcut. This is the most important shortcut. If you make an item, yeah, I made those squares. If I make something and I don't like it, you guys need to get practice with this. What you do is you hit hold control and hit Z. Control Z is the universal undo. It'll take things back. You hit Control Z, you made a mistake or you're making something really cool and something messed up, all you gotta do is just hit Control Z. You can, in fact, you can hit Control Z all the way back through your entire program until the last time you saved or opened your file. Do that, I just hit Control Z all the way through that. That's Control Z, that is undo. All right, that's the most important shortcut. Another important shortcut is this. All right, I'm gonna make this. Another important shortcut is how to zoom in and out on the fly. Control plus will zoom in. Control minus will zoom out. Practice that. Just get the hang of that. Control plus, control minus. Plus, control minus. That will allow you to zoom in and out. You have your drag bars on the bottom that can move your screen. Or if you put 2 fingers on your keypad at once on your touch screen, you can move your screen around that way, any direction. Okay, so those are just some shortcuts. Control Z is undo, Control plus is zoom in, and Control minus is zoom out. Okay. So that basically gives you the ability to make any kind of irregular shape that you'd like. One other tool under here that we haven't played around with yet, if you click on the rectangle tool, click and hold, you can go down to the star tool. And what that'll do is it'll make stars like this, like the default is kind of this basic sort of chubby, simple Super Mario star, right? And you can make as many as you want. Stars are a lot of fun to play with. See that? Yay. But if you'd like, give it an outline so we can actually see it. You can make stars with many more points as well. So it's the neat thing. Very similar to the shape tool. If I click on my star tool and I come out here and just click a single time, it's going to give me some options here. You can do many points on your star. I wouldn't go any more than like 20 or so because it just turns into a circle. If you give it like multiple shapes like that or multiple points, you can make something that's really cool. You'll notice again, you'll also notice inside of that sub window, like for instance, if I click my star again, you'll notice that there's one that says radius 1 and radius 2. That basically just tells you how long the points of your star are. Okay, so if those radius numbers are really close together, it's going to be more like a chubby little star. If they're farther apart, it'll be like really long and spidery looking star. Okay, anyhow, so there you go. Those are kind of fun. And now the last thing I want to show you how to do today is how to use your eraser. All right, the eraser is really, really neat. Oh, I was also going to show you the shape builder. Okay, so with the eraser, what you can do is this. If you have an item like so, and then let's say you have another item as well. Okay, you can have multiple items on here at once. What'll happen is if you want to use your eraser, what you can do is you can click on your eraser, see how it is like that. And when you erase, you'll see the little, there you go. When you erase, it'll only erase the item that is selected. See how it's only erasing from the item that's selected, like that. And so what that does, the eraser actually is almost like a separator tool. When you use your eraser, what it will do, let me change the color of that so you can see better. what it will do is it'll separate that shape that you've erased into different pieces. So like here we now have multiple pieces that we can move around. And here's the thing about this is every one of these multiple pieces has anchor points that you could select with your white arrow. So if I go click on my white arrow, I can do all kinds of weird stuff to these shapes. The white arrow and the eraser will allow you, once you get control of them, will allow you to make very irregular or very specific shapes. Like I can come in here with my eraser and erase out the parts I don't want. You see, you can start getting irregular shapes. So essentially, at the moment, we can make any kind of geometric shape that we can imagine. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a rectangle to this again, like this, so I can show you something about the eraser. With the eraser, you can also, not only can you separate stuff into multiple pieces like that, you see I've got multiple pieces. Not only can you do that, but you can also shape this piece. So like if I have a rectangle here, think of this as like cookie dough or something, and you can carve out the shape of the cookie. The bracket keys on your keyboard will allow you to increase or decrease the size of your eraser, or you can double click on the tool itself. You can make it bigger or smaller. So with a larger eraser, you can come through here and you can like shape out any kind of cool shape that you can imagine, right? So you can, I don't know, I'm just gonna make like a weird irregular shape. But you can like carve out any kind of strange shape like that. Look at that, I've now got this weird piece, I don't know, but you can use your imagination. Kind of looks like an eyebrow. The eraser and the white arrow will allow you to take any kind of shape you've created and then manipulate it and make it into an irregular shape or a more representational shape. Okay, so that will give you a leg up as opposed to like basic elementary geometric shapes, depending on the design you're trying to make. If this is all a lot for you right now, it's okay. We're just learning some basics. We will have projects that I'll be leading coming up. You don't have to like be tested on any of this. We just need to get good at it. Okay, the final thing I want to show you today is a really neat tool, and that's called the shape builder. So the way that will work is like this. If you make a shape like so, voila. There, I said it again, geez. Then you come over here and grab another shape, for instance. We'll just make an oval or something like that. All right, right there are two pieces, okay? If we want to like change the color of them, we would have to come in and change the color of one side, and then we'd have to come in and change the color of the other side. And the thing about it that doesn't happen when you do this is it doesn't unify the shape, right? You see how the outline, they're still very separate. So why would that be annoying? Well, if you're trying to make an irregular shape like this using geometric shapes, and you want the outline to just go around the entire piece, for instance, because you want it to be one big shape, this wouldn't work. So what you have to do, and this is easy, is you just click and drag over both items. You can just click and drag over both items with your black arrow. And then down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down on the left side here, there's a little thing called the shape builder tool. This is a really neat tool. You click on it. As long as you have multiple items selected, you can just click and drag a line through the areas that you want to unite like that, and it will create one big shape. See that? So this is a lot of fun. And then with this, of course, you can, like we've been talking about today, you can then take your eraser if you wanted to make like I have no idea what I'm doing here. I don't know, maybe this is some sort of weird logo for a modern art museum, right? So you could do that, or you could take the white arrow, you can click on a corner, and you can manipulate this direction. You know what I'm saying? So using the shape builder, the white arrow, and the eraser tool will allow you to manipulate shapes and create any sort of irregular shape that you'd like. So let me show you that one more time with the shape builder. With the shape builder, all you do is you make a shape like that. Then, you know, maybe you overlap a shape like this. Let's say this is our shape. I don't know, maybe I don't know what it is. All right, so then we click and drag over multiple items like so. So notice how everything is selected. Then we come down to the shape builder, see where I'm at here. And then while things are selected, you just click and drag through the middle of them, and it will unite all the little shape segments into one cool shape. Okay, so this is a lot of fun to deal with, depending on what you're trying to create. Like a little ant-man. All right, so anyway, that is the end of this segment. This would be like just kind of finishing up the basics of shapes and then the basics in shape manipulation. That's the white arrow. That's the eraser tool. That's the shape builder. So given those things, plus the basic geometric shapes that you know how to make already, these shapes here, You are only limited by your imagination. You could make any kind of shape or any kind of shape combination that you'd like. And then always just remember, if you want to just get it back to clear, you can just hit Ctrl Z, bring it back to normal, Ctrl Z. Okay, great job on that one. I'll be back with a new video and we will build on what we've already done here. All right, thanks a lot.